Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about what it's okay to lie about in a resume and why you absolutely shouldn't. I'm Alex, a UK chartered engineer, European engineer and a certified career coach for engineers. So let's go step by step and answer the key questions. The first thing, should you lie about your work experience? For example, just add a few extra years or say that you were working during university or just cover up gaps in your employment history. So maybe you spent a year looking for a new job and health issues, or maybe you had some health issues, right? Or maybe you left for business but things didn't work out and you return to employment. So if you live in the country where it's easy to check, where we have some kind of like work record books, so I wouldn't recommend lying. Okay, but if you are applying abroad and it's difficult or even impossible to verify, especially if that gap was a long time ago, let's say like 5 or 10 years back, then yes, you can do it. But of course, it's all your own risk. I strongly advise not lying about your current job. So that's the easiest thing for companies to check. You might be asked for a letter from your employer, pay slips, or they may even call your current manager. So I've seen it happen actually before. What about lying about your skills or knowledge of certain, let's say, the software? See, if you have zero experience in some software, then no, don't lie. But if you have some experience, it depends on what the job requires. So if the job needs you to be a pro, let's say in AutoCAD, and most of your work will around it, again, no, because they will find out right away and just fire you, right? But if the job just occasionally involves using AutoCAD, like drawing something simple once or twice a month, okay, and you have some basic knowledge, then yes, you can list it and improve your skills quickly once you are hired, right? By the way, if you want to know what key skills are required in different engineering professions and how to build a great resume, there is a link to the Engineer-Now platform down below this video.
Sending hundreds of resumes but not getting any response? Engineer-Now is a platform for creating resumes for engineers of all professions. The most crucial aspect of a technical specialist's resume is their professional skills. On the Engineer-Now platform, technical skills and competencies for almost all engineering professions have been manually selected, and you can add them to your resume with just one click. In today's world, most companies use AI algorithms to screen resumes, so even the format of your resume matters during the selection process. Engineer-Now uses formats tested over the years on hundreds of engineers. Use what truly works.
The next question, should you lie about your job title? So this is where things get interesting and where most people make mistakes when writing their resumes. This is all about positioning yourself correctly for the role you are applying for. You can and often should slightly adjust your job title, and I don't consider that actually lying. It's very common that the title in your contract or employment record doesn't match what you actually do. So in that case, you can absolutely write a clear, more accurate job title based on your real responsibilities. When it comes to translating your job title into English for an international resume, that's even more flexibility because again, it's very hard for let's say for a foreign company to verify, and here you should tailor your title to match what's expected in the global market. One important tip: don't use standard translators or general translation services for this. They often don't understand the technical specific or the industry-specific context. Okay, for example, if your official title is something like, let's say, lead specialist for reservoir development and reserves forecasting. Okay, so you don't need to write it word by word. Okay, so a much better version in English would be just lead reservoir engineer. Then in job description you can explain your responsibilities in more more detail. So if a company asks you during background checks why your resume title doesn't match your official job title, you can simply say that you adjusted the title to better reflect what you actually did. So if it's an international company, you can say that in your language the title doesn't directly translate, and you used standard, the naming convention to accurately represent your job function. That's it. So let's talk about education, including courses actually and training programs. Should you write degrees you don't actually have? So the answer is simple, absolutely not. So you will most likely be asked to provide your diploma and possibly certificates for any courses you've listed, right? So in my experience, I've never been asked to show certificates for most of the courses and trainings, but I was asked to provide proof of my chartered engineer status and my CMRP, Certified Maintenance and Reliability Professional certification. You definitely should not lie about this. So if you want to learn how to get these certifications or build an international career, or if you want my personal advice, there is a link down below this video. I've already talked about lying regarding the years of experience, but what about the actual responsibilities? So is it okay to lie there? So in general, yes. So you can and should enhance how you describe your responsibilities. For example, many people start their job description with participated in something like, or took part in, so that is a weak phrase. I always recommend avoiding. It doesn't show your level of involvement or expertise. Anyone can say they participated from a student to a senior engineer with 20+ years of experience. So it's actually vague and unimpressive, right? So you might have just attended a meeting, or you could have lead the entire project. That is completely different, right? So that is why your job description need to be measurable and impactful. So instead of just saying you worked at a plant or facility, describe your role there and mention the scale. For example, production capacity in numbers. So that gives the reader a clear sense of the size and the complexity of the operation you were part of. Now let's talk about achievements, especially ones with numbers. So this is where the most people struggle. So let's say you developed a new technology that saved a company $2 million. So that sounds great, but how did you calculate it? Here is where you can add a little, sparkle. So I'm not telling you to make things up, but yes, it's okay to estimate. No one is going to check that exact numbers, right? So the most important thing is to showcase the technical value and outcome of what you did. But you must have a strong explanation ready for the interview, because they will ask, can you walk us through how you saved the $2 million, right? Or what was your method for calculating that number? And if you decided to include a figure like that, be ready to explain how you got it. So now let's move on to languages, especially English. For example, if your level is pre-intermediate in English, so can you write upper intermediate or fluent? So here is the rule I use. So you can safely list your level one step higher. So if you are pre-intermediate, write intermediate. So if you are upper intermediate, write fluent. So that's what I do actually. So but if your real level is elementary or you're just a beginner, so don't try to claim intermediate or above, right? Because it will backfire immediately. Next, references. So if you are including references in your resume, so this should be real people. Don't use fake names. Even more importantly, let your references know in advance. Let them know someone might call and ask about you, and make sure they are okay with that and ready to give a good recommendation. So one last thing, and this is actually important as well. Trust is easy to lose. So a single lie in your resume can make the employer doubt everything you've written. So it might trigger more questions in the interview and put your whole application at risk. So that's why you need to know every single word number, and detail in your resume and be able to explain it confidently and clearly. I explain exactly how to do that in the video right over here. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out the next video. See you next time. Bye bye.